He lived only 51 years. In that time, he crowned himself emperor, rewrote the laws of Europe, and died alone on a rock in the middle of the ocean. They called him a liberator, a tyrant, the Antichrist, the genius of the century. He dreamed of uniting nations. Instead, he paved a continent with bones. This is the story of Napoleon Bonaparte, not just a biography, the story of a man with absolute ambition, a man who conquered almost all of Europe. 1769 Corsica, a wild, stony land sold to France the year before he was born. Napoleon is the son of a minor lawyer. He grows up an outsider. At a French military academy, he is mocked for his accent, for his poverty, for his foreign name. He does not break. He reads, obsessively, Caesar, Alexander, Plutarch, the idea of the great man who bends the world to his will. He does not want to be a soldier. He wants to be remembered. I live only for posterity, he will say later. 1789. The French Revolution erupts. The king falls. Paris burns. Thousands die under the guillotine. 1,000 years of monarchy collapse in a single summer. For a young officer with no name and no money, every door opens at once. Napoleon rises fast. At Toulon, he breaks a British siege with artillery. He is 24 and already a general. When a royalist mob marches on the convention, he meets them with grape shot in the streets of Paris. The Republic survives. Napoleon becomes its sword. 1796, Italy. A ragged, starving French army. Napoleon looks at this army of ghosts and promises them the impossible. I will lead you to the most fertile plains in the world. And they are ready to follow him into hell itself. Lodi, Arcole. He charges across the bridges with the flag in his hands. The Austrian Empire falls. Europe freezes in shock. Who is this boy? And he keeps moving. Then Egypt. He wants to strike at the British Empire. At the foot of the Great Pyramids, he shouts, "Soldiers, 40 centuries look down upon you." European squares against Mamluk cavalry, a triumph of the West. He brings scientists with him. He gives the world the Rosetta Stone. He no longer thinks like a general. He thinks like an emperor. 1799, Paris. The Republic is rotting in corruption. Napoleon stages his coup. He takes power. He is 30, first consul. He rebuilds the economy, builds roads, founds the Bank of France. But his true masterpiece is the Napoleonic Code, a law where every man is equal before the court, the death of feudalism, the blueprint of the modern world. Years later, in Notre Dame de Paris, he invites the Pope himself to the coronation. But the crown, he takes himself and places it on his own head. A manifesto. My power is not from God, my power is from me. 1805, Austerlitz. The Battle of the Three Emperors, a masterpiece of tactics. Thick fog on a December morning. The Russian and Austrian armies advance, certain Napoleon is weak. They do not understand that Bonaparte has lured them into this trap himself. He gave them the heights on purpose, so they would stretch their forces thin. Then the fog lifts. The sun of Austerlitz rises. The French hammer the exposed center. The enemy is cut in two. Ice cracks on the frozen ponds under the weight of retreating men. Thousands drown. Europe is on its knees. Napoleon redraws the map of the world like a patchwork quilt. He hands out crowns to his brothers and generals. But absolute power breeds absolute blindness. Impossible is a word in the dictionary of fools. He begins to believe in his own infallibility. He forgets the ideals of the revolution. He becomes what he once fought, a tyrant on a throne. He demands worship. He divorces Josephine for a dynastic marriage with an Austrian princess. His old comrades see it. This is no longer General Bonaparte. This is Caesar. And Caesar makes enemies faster than he makes allies. Spain is next. He invades the peninsula and gets a people's war in return. Guerrillas, blood running in rivers. Spain becomes the bleeding ulcer of the empire. 1812. The fatal step. The march on Russia. The Grande Armée. 600,000 men. Half of Europe marching in a single column. He wants to force Tsar Alexander to submit. Borodino. The bloodiest battle of the era. Mountains of corpses. Neither side yields. Napoleon enters Moscow. The city is empty. Soon it burns. He waits for surrender, staring at the ashes. The answer is silence. Winter comes. -30. Hunger. Soldiers eat dead horses. The Grande Armée dies in the snow. Out of 600,000, only a pitiful handful return. Napoleon abandons his soldiers and races to Paris. He knows the truth. The myth of his invincibility is dead. The Allies enter Paris. Napoleon abdicates. He is exiled to Elba. The end? No. 1815. He escapes. He lands in France with a handful of men. The king's regiments march out to arrest him. He throws open his coat. "If any of you wishes to kill his emperor, here I am." The soldiers fall to their knees. He takes Paris without a single shot. 100 days of triumph. Then Waterloo. The final bet. A fatal delay. The Prussians strike the flank. Total collapse. The empire falls forever. St. Helena, a lost rock in the Atlantic. British captivity. The greatest commander in history becomes a prisoner. He writes his memoirs. He builds his own myth. 1821. He dies at 51. His last words: France, army, head of the army. Napoleon lost his last war. His empire crumbled into dust, but his ideas survived. The civil code, meritocracy, the awakening of nations. He proved the terrifying scale of what a single human will can do, and he left a warning for all time. A man who raised the world onto his shoulders and was crushed beneath its weight.